So the last budget of the Modi government before the country heads for general elections. You heard the speech. What is your first reaction and key takeaways from the budget?
I think the finance minister, my friend Mr. Piyush Goyal, has done a fabulous job, and I'd really like to congratulate him. The fact that he, in an election year, he was required to satisfy various political constituencies, the fact that he's been able to do that and at the same time be responsible and maintain a fiscal deficit budget of 3.4% is really praiseworthy. And I hope that they succeed in doing what they're saying that they're doing. I think also the fact that they've given a tax break to the middle class should help consumption. There is more money that's being provided to certain sections of society that will create more consumption and help the overall economy. The fact that he spoke about the vision of the government and Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, I think was also unique. The Indian government and the country should have a vision statement, and that was provided in this budget. I think this is something that is indeed praiseworthy.
Like we spoke, sir, the key focus this time seems to be on the agriculture sector, the middle class, but industry also has some of its expectations, whether it's say on the corporate tax or the other departments. What were your expectations before the budget, and how far do you think from the industry perspective have they been met?
I don't think that the corporate sector had any huge expectations of this budget. This is an election year budget. I think in general we need to see that the economy continues to grow, and in fact that we leave the 7.5 and 8% growth behind us and try and target 10% growth for the next several years. That is important. So the direction is important. The fact that the ease of doing business issues are addressed in some way. I think one of the things that he announced, which was very interesting, was this automation of income tax assessment. That was and refunds happening within 24 hours. I think those are very interesting steps and will help a lot. I think one of the issues that everybody has been facing is the fact that business failure is disincentivized so much in our system today that credit offtake is low. But I think steps are being taken on those counts, and hopefully with steps of the sort that we spoke about, there should be an improvement. One of the great things about the PM Kisan scheme, I must say to you, is that to me it appears that a consensus seems to be developing that we should actually remove all these subsidies which have outlived their utility and roll them all into a universal income scheme, and ensure that universal income scheme is such that the benefits reach directly to the beneficiaries. I think that's a great thing about that PM Kisan scheme. We heard similar proposals from the other side, from the Congress party. It would be absolutely fantastic if the two big parties were to get together, form a consensus on such large national programs. I must give credit to this government for the fact that they were able to develop a consensus on something as complicated as the GST Act. The fact that passed by consensus was great for the federal structure of our country. The fact that the GST Council decisions are being taken by consensus, huge credit to Mr. Arun Jaitley and this government. So if we can adopt the same model for schemes like PM Kisan in the future, where there is a direct benefit transfer, a universal income, and a phasing out of subsidies which have outlived their utility, I think it's great for the country and will get us one step closer to achieving a higher growth rate than we are achieving today.
So like you said, in an election budget, it was also an expenditure-dominated budget, heavy budget. The fiscal deficit number came out today. Going forward, how do you see the impact of the budget? What sort of impact can we expect on the fiscal number as
Well, I hope that they are able to stick to this 3.4% number. It shows that the government, despite this being an election year, and that they have remained fiscally responsible. The finance minister also spoke about achieving the target of 3% by 2021. That will be great if they do it. Hopefully, I was also heartened to see the numbers that he gave on tax collection. The direct taxes, the increase in direct taxes from 6 lakh crores to about 12 lakh crores today, 5 years later. The fact that the indirect taxes went up from an average of about 80,000 crores per month last year to 90,000 crores this year, and in January, as you've seen, they've crossed 100,000 crores. If this buoyancy can be maintained, I think that they will be able to stick to their fiscal targets, and that will be great for the country.
So last question. So after the budget, now we're hearing voices and opinions coming on as far as what are the expectations on the policy rate or the rate cuts that's coming. Anything that from what would be your expectation be now?
Well, hopefully there is still space to cut. On the monetary side, cut the interest rate. I think this is something that we need to stimulate growth. And I'm hoping that there is at least a 0.5% cut in interest rates, and I hope that the RBI will find that there is still space to do it.